Hey friends, if you're looking for quick tips to help you jumpstart your week, you are in the right place. I'm Laurie, host of the popular weekly podcast Organized Life, founder of Simply Be Organized, and every Monday I am here to bring you a quick organizing tip in under 15 minutes. All you have to do is click the subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening, and let's get started. Hi everybody, and welcome to today's tip of the week. I am your host, Laurie, and I am so glad that you're here. I hope if you're listening to this in real time, we just are coming off the heels of Thanksgiving. And I hope that wherever you are, you had an enjoyable holiday. Again, that's, I guess, if you're here in the US, we have a lot of listeners in other countries, but here in the US, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. And I know for a lot of people, holidays can be a mixed bag of emotions. It can be really somber and sad, it could be a little lonely, it could be like cup filling for people. And I wanted to take a little bit of a different spin for today's tip of the week because we are oftentimes, finding ourselves in this crazy season that we're just kind of going and we're just constantly in this state of doing and just very task oriented. And I want to actually take something that is counterintuitive to a lot of us and just taking a step for a second. And keeping a gratitude journal is today's tip. And one of the things that I started doing a while ago, and I've talked about this before on the show, is taking a minute or two to sit down and be really intentional about the things that are going right in my life, because we oftentimes are consumed with the things that aren't going right, whether it is something like small, like, oh, my computer's not working, or my car didn't start today, or it could be really something big, like a health issue or something going on with your parents or your kids. And I get it. Life can be throwing us curveballs at any given time. And it seems oftentimes for many of us, the holidays can really take a toll on us. And so, what I am going to encourage everybody to do is just figure out a time in your day, each day. And it could be first thing in the morning, it could be midday, it could be at night. I tend to find that morning or night works better. But for some people, if you're taking like a midday pause, that might not be a bad thing. And writing down one thing that day that you are grateful for. I talked about when I did my 365 days of gratitude back in 2018. That was a social experiment that I did on Instagram on my personal page. And every day I had to take a picture of something that I was grateful for and write a caption about it. And at first it was super easy because I was talking about, like, you know, my family and the roof over my head and all these great things. But then you start getting into it, a couple, 100 days into it, and you start to think about, like, wow, what else am I grateful for? And there are so many little things, but you have to be really, really intentional about it. And especially days that my kids were fighting, or I was like having a stressful day at work, and you're like, I just feel like everything's going wrong. It forced me to take a step back, hit pause, and go, no, there is something. What is the one silver lining of this day, even if the day seems to be a dumpster fire? And I look back and I did 365 days of this. And I will tell you, it was such a great practice. And it became infectious. Other people started looking to doing their own gratitude projects. And regardless of what it looks like for you, whether it's something that you're putting public or you're doing it on your own, I think it's a really great practice for us to not only look at the glass half full, because sometimes when things are going sideways, it's easy to just fall into that downward spiral, but it also reminds us how far we've come when we're going through times of adversity, or maybe you're struggling with clutter and you've got other things that are going on in your brain. Little things, little wins, we often just dismiss. We just kind of throw it out the window and don't think about it. And by getting in a practice of a moment of intentionality, or 5 minutes of intentionality, where you could be like, you know what? I know today was really hard, but let me write down one thing that I'm grateful for, or waking up in the morning and setting your intention of gratitude. is a practice that will help you just set the tone for the day ahead, or kind of recalibrate for things that may have gone off the rails. And again, I know if you're listening in real time, this can be a really bittersweet time of year for a lot of people. And recently, I've been talking to a lot of people that have suffered a lot of loss, and the holidays are going to be extra hard for them this year, whether it's emotional loss or financial loss. And they're just feeling not as grateful as maybe they have been in years past. And so I really want to encourage you to build that gratitude muscle, because, like anything, it is something that you need to continually be looking for it. And if you look for it, you'll find it, right? Just like if you look for the bad, that's what you're going to find. But looking for those nuggets of joy, of things that are going in your favor, that are going really well in your life, um, that becomes infectious and it translates into other areas. And I always talk about leading by example. And so if you are somebody that is doing this in your own life, it will then like show up with the other people around you, whether it's, again, something that is intentional, or you don't have to be telling them to do it, but just witnessing the fact that you are taking the time to do this. Your kids will see it, your spouse will see it, your friends will see it, your boss will see it, your coworkers will see it. So if for nobody else other than yourself, today's tip of the week is to start a gratitude journal. And if you're already doing one, that's awesome. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I love it. I love doing an actual journal. But if you want to do something in your phone, like in a notes, or do it on social media like I did, that's great. If you do decide that you're going to do it on social media and you want to tag us, we would love to see some of the things that you're grateful for, because we are grateful for you here. Without you, we wouldn't have a show to produce, and I appreciate each and every one of you. So my gratitude for today is all of you in our This Organized Life podcast community. So I hope you enjoyed today's tip, and I hope you have a great week. And we will be back on Thursday with another episode of This Organized Life. Until then, I'm Laurie Palau. Peace out. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please spread the love and share it with your friends. And if this is your first time joining us, make sure to click the subscribe button wherever you are listening so you never miss an episode. And while you're there, please leave us a review so other people know that our show is worth the listen. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at This Organized Life Podcast. And if you'd like to connect with us, you can head on over to our website at simply the letter B like boy organized.com, which is filled with tons of resources, including free downloads, checklists, links to our amazing organizing partners, and all of our digital offerings. I'll see you next week for another episode of This Organized Life.